Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is coming for Wilfred, Season 4, Episode 8, Courage. And I was expecting to review the bridge for you guys, but I decided I would not review the bridge because what I decided to do is I wanted to review Wilfred because I really just felt like watching Wilfred live this week. And I decided to, and honestly guys, I made the right decision because this episode was absolutely fantastic. I thought this episode had no problems at all, in my opinion. No problems. No problems at all, in my opinion. I thought this episode was absolutely fantastic. I loved this episode, thought it was a fantastic episode, and there were so many great things about this episode. And you know, one of the things I loved about this episode was we actually saw a serious side of Wilfred. We saw a serious side of Wilfred, and I really, enjoyed that about this episode. So let me just get to this episode. Basically, this episode had to do with Wilfred. Of course, he did lose his leg in the he did lose his arm in the last episode. So now he's a three-legged dog, and he's happy about it. Now Jenna thinks that, and I thought that was funny. He at first is like really happy about it and everything. So basically, he's really happy about it and everything. So that's what's going on there, and yeah, so he is really happy about it, and that's what's going on, is that he's really happy about it, and basically what ends up happening is that Jenna, in the meantime, thinks he's in a very bad condition. She thinks that he really is not enjoying it at all, when really he is enjoying it. And, Ryan is telling Wilfred to basically cheer up, and, having Jenna seeing him like this is not the best, way to go. Seeing Jenna having Jenna seeing him like this is not the way to go, really, and I thought that was a good scene. And, basically, Ryan and Wilfred have one thing to do, and that is they need to go to the vet, and Wilfred and Ryan, they go to the vet, and Wilfred gets this warning from the doctor, and the doctor says, he has a small, mark in, his lungs. And it doesn't mean anything, it's very rare, but, he could possibly have lung cancer. So when they said that, I freaked out, because the show is coming to an end, obviously, and, if they want to get rid of certain characters, especially Wilfred, I thought, that would be a perfect death right there, because it's like, Wilfred, be a perfect death, because, Wilfred dying would be a very satisfying death would be a very satisfying way to end the show, in my opinion. I think it'd be very, very satisfying. So, Jenna and Ryan, Ryan decides the best thing to do is to hide this from Jenna. They don't want to tell Jenna about it, and that's what they decide to do. Now, Wilfred, in the meantime, is freaking out, because in case he does have lung cancer, and honestly, I don't blame Wilfred, because, it's very rare for a dog to get that side effect that they have lung cancer. And of course, Wilfred might have lung cancer, so he's freaking out about it and everything, so basically, he makes this bucket list, and the bucket list includes some very funny things. The bucket list includes various things. For example, things like smelling flowers and then destroying them with a chainsaw. I mean, really funny shit going on there. I thought that was definitely very, very funny. Really funny shit. Really enjoyed that. Also, the other thing I forgot to talk about is, the other thing that Jen is very concerned about is Wilfred walking, because Wilfred is very, he doesn't want to climb upstairs. He's worried something bad is going to happen to him, so he doesn't really want to climb up the stairs. And the reason this episode was called Courage was because Ryan said he needs to have the courage to, climb up the stairs, but at the same time, Ryan does not have the courage to tell Jenna, because Jenna's already, very concerned about Wilfred because of him losing an arm. So again, they decide not to tell Jenna, and that's basically what they decided to do. They decided not to tell her. So, they don't really know what's going to happen and everything, and Wilfred does actually something I thought was really good. I really like this next scene, what Wilfred decided to do in this next scene. Wilfred decides that the best thing to do is Bear. Now, of course, Bear has been pretty much a silly character throughout the entire show. Bear has been someone that only Wilfred can see. That huge teddy bear that Wilfred has. But what Wilfred decides to do with Bear is to actually give Bear a funeral, because Wilfred is saying goodbye to Bear, and honestly, I thought it was a sweet scene when he said goodbye to Bear, because it's like, even though it was a big teddy bear, Wilfred was so attached to it, and you could see that Wilfred did have a bomber bear, and it's really sad because Wilfred has no one except Ryan and Bear and Jenna, and it's really sad that happened to him. And I mean, I really thought that was a very good scene in my opinion. Very good scene, really enjoyed that. I mean, that was an amazing scene. I actually was very surprised by how good of an actor Jason Gann was in that scene. I mean, he's always been a good actor, but most times he's just there for comic relief, and this scene, no, he was actually really, really dramatic, and I said this before, Wilfred is best when it's dramatic. When it's a comedy, fine, but it's best when it is dramatic, in my personal opinion. That's what I think, is that Wilfred is best when it is dramatic. And, what happens next? I'm trying to remember what happens next. Let me check what happens next. Let me just go to the episode. Sorry, guys, I did not write a recap for this episode because I literally just finished watching it. Yeah, that's what happened next. Okay, basically, as I said before, Wilfred was basically talking to Ryan, about how he didn't want to climb up the steps, and Ryan told him he has to have the courage to do it, and he does climb up the steps, which makes Jenna very happy, of course, and, when Ryan comes home, he sees Jenna crying. Now, of course, Jenna crying, that's not a good thing, obviously, that Jenna's crying. So he sees Jenna crying, and he doesn't really know why she's crying, or what she's crying about, things like that. He doesn't really know why she is crying. And then we get probably the saddest scene in Wilfred history. This was sadder than Ryan's dad dying. This was sadder than Ryan's dad dying. It really was. Because basically, we find out that Wilfred actually is dying. He's been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and he's not going to recover from this. Really, really sad. I really thought that was a really well done scene, and honestly, I liked how serious Wilfred went in this scene. I liked how serious they decided to go in this scene. Very, very good job going this serious. I really enjoyed how serious they went. I thought it was definitely really good that they actually went this serious, and just really good. And, the other thing that I really liked about this next scene was, there's something else that happens before. By the way, before he sees, basically, before Jenna had found out that he did have the, lung cancer, that he had been, there had been, like, a, what do you call it? I don't remember what it's called, but, she finds, the evidence that he does have the lung cancer. She's upset at Ryan, obviously, but she's crying, and she said, I was gonna talk to you before, and she told him about the lung cancer, and they end up having sex, and I was really happy that this happened, because I have wanted Ryan and Jenna together for so long. Obviously, Ryan tried to get back together with Amanda that one time. It did not work out for him. Ryan did have that one brief kiss with Jenna, but finally, for once, they're finally showing to us Ryan and Jenna, yes, they are endgame. I knew they would be endgame in the show. They're not like a couple that I constantly rooted for, but they were a couple that I really wanted them together, and I'm very happy that they got them together, because they had a lot of chemistry in the show. Not just as friends, but I really like this next scene, because they're laying in bed together. Ryan goes over to Jenna, and he tells her that he loves her, and I just thought that was a very sweet scene. He tells her he loves her, and, he asks her if she feels the same, and she says that she does, and honestly, I was very happy that she said she does love him. I was very happy by that. Thought that was really well done, and I just really, really enjoyed that, in my opinion. Very, very good, stuff there. This episode, even though it did focus on Wilfred having cancer, it was more about Jenna and Ryan's relationship and how far they have come, and I'll get to that at the end of the episode. But basically, Ryan wants to know if Wilfred knows that he actually has it. He wants to know if Wilfred knows he actually has it. He hears, Wilfred, he's in, like, a shed, basically. He's in a shed, and, Ryan goes into that shed, and Wilfred is there talking about how he knows he has it. And of course, Ryan asks, are you upset that me and Jenna had sex? And Wilfred said he's not happy he's not unhappy at all. He's not sad, he's not angry about it at all, because, he led Jenna and Ryan to happiness, and this proves that he is a god. And I just thought that scene was so well done. And the scene with Wilfred basically just accepting that he has the lung cancer was so well done. This was not funny in any means, and I really like that about this scene. You know, this was one scene for once where there was nothing funny about this scene. I really enjoyed that about this scene, that there really was nothing funny in this scene, and the way it was constructed was so well done. Elijah Wood and Jason Gann gave amazing performances in this scene, and honestly, this was probably the best episode in Wilfred history. It really was, in my opinion. It had everything I loved about the show, and now we have this whole thing of Wilfred having cancer, and, you know, Wilfred, we pretty much know now, is a god. That's what Wilfred is. He is a god, and I like that they subtly revealed it to us. They didn't, like, say, oh my god, Wilfred's a god, it's such a huge reveal. No, they didn't throw it in our faces. What they did instead was they basically, you know, they didn't throw it in our faces. What they did instead was basically what they decided to do was instead what they did was they decided to basically tell us that, yes, Wilfred is a god. They didn't literally say it, like, right to our face, but yeah, they told us that, yes, he is a god, and I was very happy about that scene. I thought it was very well constructed. I said, really, really liked it. And then, of course, we get the really sad news that next week is the series finale. Honestly, perfect, because I felt, you know, because when I was watching this episode, there was one thing that was going through my mind, and that was that this episode felt like the perfect episode to send us off on before a series finale. That's what this seemed like, definitely. The perfect episode to leave us off on before a series finale, and I really like that about this episode, definitely. These last two episodes are going to be very amazing. There's one scene of Ryan and Wilfred at a beach that looks absolutely incredible. Really, really looking forward. Now, let me talk about what I think is going to happen, that we still need to know what's going to happen. First of all, Drew. Are we going to see Drew again? Drew, of course, left to Wisconsin. I don't know if we're going to see Drew again. We never really I think we pretty much got closure with him, but you really never know, because they kept Jenna onto the show, and I didn't expect them to keep Jenna onto the show like that. I didn't expect them to that to happen. I expected Jenna to go with Drew to Wisconsin, so they surprised us with that, so if they can keep Jenna on the show, I'm pretty sure they're going to show Drew again, definitely. I definitely think they're going to. The other thing is, that I really want to know is, are we actually going to see Wilfred die in the show, or is there any way he can recover from this? Honestly, I don't think there is going to be a way. Again, this is the final season. Obviously, if they want to kill off any character, I think Wilfred would definitely be the best bet, because think about it. If Wilfred dies, that closes Ryan's chapter of, am I going insane? Am I not going insane? No longer is Ryan worried about that. You know, that's the thing. We saw it in this episode. Ryan did not even talk about the cult in this episode because it's not a concern of his anymore. And I was very happy about that. It really shows that Ryan is really moving on from the whole am I going insane thing. He's really moving on from that, because what matters to him now is that he's with Jenna. He has what he wanted, and what he's wanted, of course, is to be with Jenna and to have Wilfred. Obviously, Wilfred's his friend, obviously, but to have Jenna as well, that's what matters to him, and I just thought that was so well done. The way they portrayed it, I love that about this episode. That was absolutely fantastic, and again, I could praise this episode because I absolutely loved it. Again, I was surprised by how dark this episode went. It went very dark, in my opinion. Very dark. Very surprised by how dark it went, definitely. Much darker than I thought it actually would have gone. I expected it to go, I expected this episode, to be a little bit dark, but I expected it to be silly, and I like that FXX does do that to us, definitely. I do like that, definitely. But these last two episodes, by the way, guys, next week I am going to review the last two episodes as one, because I reviewed last year's finale, the Season 3 finale, as one episode, because I felt it went together as one episode, 1 hour episode put together, and I feel like this episode is going to be the same, it's going to feel like one episode put together, and that's just how I feel about how this episode's going to be. But that's basically it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Absolutely love this episode. By far the best episode of the season. Maybe the entire series as well. I love the way they portrayed this episode. Very, very well done. Love the episode. That's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of The Bridge, which I'm going to actually watch right after this review. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.